Welcome in to the DNVR Avalanche pregame show live from the Toyota Lounge, powered by your Front Range Toyota dealerships and presented by Bet365. We got J-Mike and Rudo coming to you live as the Avs taking on the New Jersey Devils again. They just played them a couple nights ago, but it's an even playing field this time. No excuses for the Avs like a Segababo or what have you. Colorado's got to go out and be the better team tonight. The one news note that chat is already talking about, Trent Miner waived to be assigned to the AHL. Mackenzie Blackwood is backing up, not playing, but backing up Scott Wedgwood today. So Blackwood is essentially right there and back to healthy. Should be starting games very soon.
Are you surprised that he's not starting this game, given that he's good enough to be on the active roster? And
I would say not really. I think, one, I know the last two games from Wedgwood were not very good, but the start of the season you've gotten out of him. You trust him enough to, especially now that he's had a couple of days off, he'll be fine. And two, if you can help it, why not give Blackwood a little bit of an easier entry than literally the best team in the NHL right now for his first game back? This is not a guy who has had a big offseason. He had surgery at the first early part of the offseason that he had to rehab from, and then re-injured himself a few weeks before training camp. So this is not a guy who's going to be super warm getting back into his first game. I know he's practiced, but game situations are always different. So I'm okay with Blackwood being the backup for a night. And I obviously don't have intimate knowledge of how healthy he is, but I can't imagine the Avs would have waived Trent Miner if they didn't think Blackwood could play if he had to.
Just kind of off of that, given if you were trying to ease him into things, do you think it could be a couple games of this, of having him as going to Vegas for your first start's not necessarily the easiest way to come back in either.
It definitely could be the second half of that Friday, Saturday back-to-back that the Avs have. I also could be reading too much into this. Blackwood will get a start soon. It's not something I think that's really worth reading into any more than the surface level. If he's healthy enough to be in the lineup again, he's healthy enough to play if they need him.
Any fear of potentially losing Miner in all of this?
I mean, a tiny bit. I think there's a small chance he gets claimed, but with goalies, once you're in season, it's really hard to claim a goalie because then you essentially have to run 3 goalies for the next month if you want to keep them. So it should be pretty safe, and Miner's NHL track record isn't good enough for a team to really be super interested. You have to believe in the process and that he's a prospect with a lot of upside if you want to claim him at this point. I don't think there's 100% sure he's getting through and going down to the Eagles, but like 90% sure he'll make it through. I'm not worried about it.
How big is it to be back on home ice tonight, just given the recent skid and you're on the other side of the country playing weird matinee games? Yeah.
A normal one at home, I think, is nice for the Avs to... we've seen a lot of tinkering, and we'll talk about that in a little bit here, but getting that home ice advantage, being able to, I don't want to say sit back, but knowing you're going to get the matchups you want, which is mostly going to be best on best, your second and third lines, which you hope for more out of your second line. Your third line has been really, really good, especially at home. You know you're going to have a better opportunity to win the matchups and get even matchups or better at home, which does matter. And especially against a team like New Jersey, you know, you go up against a Columbus, a Boston, which I know they lost to, but maybe you aren't as concerned about those slivers, those small edges. Against a team like New Jersey, those things matter.
You know, you mentioned playing with pace against a team like New Jersey. It kind of felt like in that last matchup, especially over the first 10 minutes or so, really sluggish, didn't have puck possession. the response was great, and you love that they're able to tie it up after going down, 2-0. One of them's kind of a bad bounce. One of them's kind of a softie given up by Minor. But I just feel like that game kind of came down to those first 8 minutes. And if you just had a little bit less of a sluggish start, a little less sloppy right out of the gate, you probably win that one in regulation because they were the better team for more of that matchup.
At very least, you make your life a whole lot easier. You don't have to try quite as hard if you don't make those mistakes early or ever in the game, frankly. And talking about the pace and the puck possession, we do have our stat pack here, if we can pull that up, Tiff, because I think it paints a good picture of what the Avs not on a Sega Baba should be able to do. Obviously, New Jersey's 8-1, a ridiculously good start. But when you actually look at some of these underlying numbers, the Avs are one of the best possession teams at 5-on-5. They generate some of the most expected goals at 5-on-5. And New Jersey in those categories of the underlying stuff is middle of the pack or worse. Their actual underlying stuff isn't that great. They've been relying on a couple of things. One, they have had really good goaltending to start the season, which has helped them a lot. And two, it's the power play and special teams in general. Their PK is also great. New Jersey's special teams have been awesome, and the Avs' power play has been awful. And I don't know that tonight is really the night I'm expecting the power play to break out and start saving you. But your special teams need to not cost you in this game. If you can keep it even on special teams and play 5-on-5 to the Avs' ability, they should be the favorite tonight. And they are, according to the betting. So the Avs should be able to get this done at 5-on-5 when you don't have the tired legs, when you don't have the long road trip. It really wasn't that long of a road trip, but the back-to-back. The Avs are set up for success if they play what their underlyings tell you they can play. But New Jersey also can play better than those numbers. So I'm not expecting this to be easy, just doable.
I mean, I guess what's somewhat encouraging is did a pretty good job for a lot of that game of playing penalty-free hockey. I don't think he gave up a power play until halfway through.
Yeah.
Kind of problem was they didn't create any power play opportunities themselves.
And I don't know how much more there really is to say about the Avs power play at this point. It's
not good. It's not producing.
Bad. Right. All you can really say is it's bad and it needs to get better. But you can only make it better if you get opportunities. And the Avs had essentially 1.5 power plays the other night. They weren't good, but also if you go
not a ton of opportunities.
Right. If you go 0 for 2 on a night, no one's saying, "Oh, your special teams were so bad because you went 0 for 2." It's not really a fair shake. So, yeah, the Avs are one of the better teams in the league at drawing penalties. So hopefully they can get a couple more tonight. It definitely felt like the whistles were put away for a lot of the last game against New Jersey. We'll see what it looks like tonight, but Avs have no reason to not feel confident going into this one.
It's a big-time matchup, an opportunity, kind of like we've said a couple of times now, but to make a statement, you've got a nice star power or nice star-studded lineup on the other side. You've obviously got a ton of star power yourself. Hughes and Bratt, McKinnon and Netchus. This should be a lot of fun.
It should, especially if we get that full octane pace that we're talking about, because for a lot of that game the other day, we didn't get it. Again, I'm not faulting the Avs. Slow start, and then the third period, your sixth period in literally less than 24 hours. Of course, your legs are going to go a little bit. There shouldn't be any of that tonight. It should be going for the Avalanche. And New Jersey can absolutely play that way, too, if they want to. They can turn up the wick and play fire wagon hockey if that's what you want. Jack Hughes has been awesome to start this year. It feels like he's scoring from everywhere. Brad is a really good player, even if I don't think he's Marty Necas level, but a quality guy. And you want to see those two lines go punch for punch, right? I've been talking about this for a handful of games in this losing streak now where you're going to have to outscore some of these problems. You're not a perfect hockey team. Nobody is. You can't win every game 2-1. You're going to have to win one 4-3, 5-4, whatever it might end up being. And to do that, your top line needs to outscore their top line.
I feel like one of the things that stood out about New Jersey in the last one was how opportunistic they were. You get a bounce, they would just rip it, put it on net, and obviously had a couple of really perfectly placed shots. McKinnon did a nice job of getting that redirect goal as well.
Yeah.
But it feels like the type of game where you really have to be conscious of your puck management because, one little break the other way, you're in the same spot you were in the other day. We're down 2-0 all of a sudden.
And it's again, you're not going to play a perfect hockey game. There are going to be mistakes, but the mistakes can't be that big. They can't be giving up a 2-on-0. They can't be the biggest boneheaded play of the night. Don't let your team make that big mistake. Force the other team to have the worst mistake of the night. The Avs have not done a good enough job of that. Some of this, you live in a world where the Avs play a high wire act hockey and you take some risks that maybe some other teams wouldn't, but decision making is important. You can't think go forward 100% of the time, all the time, forever, or this is going to keep happening to you. And some nights your goalie's going to be better and make some of those saves for you, and you might get away with it. But some nights those pucks go in and your life gets really hard.
Well, and especially right now, like Wedgwood, all the credit in the world to him. He's played out of his mind these last couple of weeks, but you don't have your number one guy in net. Like, you run the offense a little bit different when the backup quarterback's in.
Yeah, no one was surprised, or no one should have been surprised when Wedgwood kind of fell off a little bit in these last couple of starts, because that's the reality of hockey. Wedgwood was never a .935 goalie in his career, and if he was, he'd be the highest paid goalie in the NHL.
He wouldn't be here right now.
Right. Yeah. Like, that, you don't do that unless you're the best goalie in the league. So you knew that was going to correct. Now, hopefully, we are in a world where he got that rest, he's refreshed, ready to go, and can be solid tonight. I'm not asking him to, hey, you can only let in one. That's not what I'm saying. But you cannot let in a softie tonight. I think it's been too many games in a row from the Avs goalies where there's at least one goal you want back. If great plays beat you, great plays beat you. But make the saves you're supposed to.
What are your thoughts on the second line going into this one? Because obviously a little bit of a shakeup there.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be Colton, at least to start on that second line next to Nelson and Nichushkin, which obviously they produced the game-tying goal the other day, so I'm all good with that. I do think it's a little bit interesting because you see a little bit of a role shift on that line. And Colton's a skilled guy. I don't mind him there. I am interested to see there. If it were me picking, personally, I'd have put Olofsson up on that line. Nichushkin has always kind of been able to play both sides, so you can leave Olofsson on the right if that's what you want to do. But they're going with Colton. I am fine with it needing a change. I have no problem with that, especially because it worked the other night. But you do have to understand how the line's going to work, because mechanically, Nichushkin right now is your play driver on that line. You have to ride that while it's working. Nelson really should be your shooter, and that leaves... You either have Colton being kind of the extra third man who needs to go do a lot of the dirty work, which makes more sense being Colton than Olofsson in that regard. But to some extent, your roles are going to change where you're going to need Colton to be a little bit more of a distributor, a little bit more of working with the puck, and Val is going to have to go do some of that dirty work for you down low because you don't have a Landeskog to go do some of that stuff in the corners. I think it can absolutely work. I think the Avs need it to work tonight, and some of that comes down to more, you need to get more consistency out of Brock Nelson, but whether it's Colton or Olofsson who ends up there ultimately, the offensive production is what you're looking for. I don't really care who's there as long as they're picking up points and pucks are going in.
Any fear of messing with the chemistry of that third line, which has played so well at home?
Yeah, I mean, I think Jack Drury's a pretty consistent guy. I don't think you need to worry too much about him, but certainly you want to give the right opportunities to a guy like Olofsson, and we're not even 100% sure what that third line might look like. There was parts of last game where Brindley was playing up on the third line and Olofsson was down on the fourth, even though Olofsson also picked up a point in that game. So I do think you are putting your bottom six into a little bit of a flux position to try and make sure you solidify that second line, which is fine. You have to make your lineup work. Your second line is more important than your bottom six. The real question is, how much can you get out of Landy on that third line?
That's what I was going to ask you. How does this change what you're trying to get out of him now?
You still need more production than 2 points in 10 games, but a second line player, you're asking for 6, 7, 8 points in 10 games. A third line player, you can get 4 or 5 points out of a guy in 10 games. That's a solid third line player for you. And I do think it takes a little bit of the pressure off of Landy, regardless of whether you think it's good process or whatever. There should be some, I'll put it this way. Gabe Landeskog still thinks the game at a top 6 level. I honestly believe he can probably still play the game at a top 6 level, even if there are some inconsistencies or not great stuff that we've seen from him so far. And if you put that against weaker competition, it just makes Landy's life easier to do the things he's capable of. It's not going to be quite so hard to grind that extra millimeter of space to get that pass off or get that shot off. Maybe that's something he needs right now to get back in the groove.
I mean, it's not crazy to think might be a little bit up and down for a while.
Right. Yeah, shouldn't be surprised by that.
The guy
Absolutely.
did probably play above expected in the postseason last season, coming back from 3 years.
For sure.
Like, there's going to be some highs and lows, but I don't feel like he's been a disaster out there.
Not at all.
Looking like he's a half step behind everybody. I mean, yeah, there's been some inconsistencies. I love the poke check he had in that last game, or I mean, he damn near stole a goal there. Still
extremely defensively sound. I think at times his passing has been a little bit errant.
Yeah,
his best shot of the season didn't count. So there's still a decent shot there, but that line as a whole has had what was the second line has at times struggled to congeal into quality offensive opportunities. It feels like shooting attempts are either going right to the chest or maybe there are opportunities that are just slipping off of sticks, even if it was good play leading up to that. But with that being said, by no means has Landy been terrible. Their possession numbers are great. Landy is going to continue to be a guy who not only plays quality on both ends of the ice, but he's multiple times already this season been first guy in on a scrum. He's not going to take any guff from anybody.
No fears. He wants all the smoke.
Right, exactly. There's no fear there.
Maybe too much smoke at times.
Yeah, sometimes.
For a guy who's had concussions in the past and then all that. I mean, I love it. Like, I'm never gonna be critical of that.
I mean, there was a little bit more. I don't know if Bailey talked about it or not in her morning skate piece, but Landy did talk a little bit about the season so far in the morning skate. So let's hear Bailey's hit from Ball Arena.
What is going on, you guys? Bailey Curtis with DNVR here, bringing you inside Ball Arena for tonight's matchup against the New Jersey Devils. Saw them on Sunday. We're going to see them again here at Ball Arena. Feels weird to kind of go ahead and get this series out of the way, but good thing is Jared Bednar says there might be a quick turnaround for this team. He liked a lot of the things that he saw on Sunday that he wants the team to continue against the Devils tonight. Very good skating team on the other side of the ice, so a lot to neutralize there heading into this matchup. One thing I do want to point out here, Scott Wedgwood will be getting the start. He got the start against Boston on Saturday. Trent Miner played on Sunday. Scott Wedgwood's looking to have a bounce-back game. Good news is Trent Miner will not be backing up. That spot will go to Mackenzie Blackwood. We have not seen him at all this season. He's been recovering from injury, but backing up, I think, is a step in the right direction for him to start here soon. Again, we'll see you guys here tonight against the New Jersey Devils.
Thank you, Bailey. Look, the Avs are a super skilled team. New Jersey is a pretty high skill team too. I will say everyone loves a grinder. Everyone loves a hard worker. Everyone loves going into a night and wanting to outwork the other team. But some nights, you just got to use your talent.
Yeah.
A team like New Jersey, there's no reason the Avs can't go out there, play a little bit of globetrotter hockey and have it work. You're skilled enough to do that. The Avs just have to go out and do it. That's how I feel about it. Jared Bednar, we know he's going to like his grinders. He talks about it a little bit at Morning Skate too. Let's hear it from Jared right now.
I'm going to go ahead and call on you guys, just everybody's kind of interrupting each other a little bit just for now, and then we'll go back to it with a smaller group. Ryan, go ahead.
Gabe was one of the last guys out on the ice. He said he's just enjoying as much ice time as he can get and working on his game. Like, do you have conversations with him about maybe how to get to where he wants to be?
No, we haven't had any conversations like that yet. Like, I think it's perfectly normal for him to be where he is right now. And I think it's a matter of time. Like, he missed 3 years of hockey, right? So there's some things in his game that he's doing right now that I love. I love his play underneath the hash marks and ozone play, getting to the net front. He's got a heaviness, to him and a determination in his game that's been really consistent this year. I think the pace and like some of the more, sort of skilled puck play, will come with time. That's what I believe. You just got to keep working at it and stay with it. And I think the more he's on the ice and the more games we play, the better he's going to get.
Jesse, then Bailey.
Coach, we're through the first 10-game segment. I know you, especially this time of year, really look at the process more than the results. What have you thought of the process through 10?
Yeah, it's been great. It's been great. I think, numbers would show that. Dangerous offensive team, really good on the defending side. Like I said, I think we came out with a strong commitment to defend early in the year that, I'd say is stronger than years past. We eventually get there, but I think, the focus and determination, sort of commitment to just play the right way and not give up too many things on a nightly basis has been there. I think just recently we've given up some unnecessary shots early in games, kind of wading into a couple of these last games, and in those games we've given up a couple bad goals early in those games, that I think our goaltenders would like back, so we're kind of been playing from behind. So that's something we got to fix tonight. I don't think that's a big, something that we have to work on for weeks to do. It's all about coming out and being ready to play like we have in the second half of these games here recently. So it's something we addressed, and hopefully tonight we change that immediately.
Bailey, then Eric.
Having that opportunity to play New Jersey so soon after just playing them and finishing out the series, what are some of the kind of nitty-gritty things that you guys have talked about heading into tonight?
Well, there's a bunch of things. I'm not going to go into them pre-game. But there's some things we did in that game that were really good. I liked our forecheck. I like our ozone play. I thought we did a really nice job of getting pucks in traffic to their net front and coming up with some bunch of sort of dirty area scoring chances and secondary chances, and we got rewarded for that. So, they're a really strong skating team, so your details got to be good right away from their goal line all the way into your end. And I thought we gave up too much on the rush last game against them, and they can do that to a lot of teams. There's a couple things we showed this morning that I think we can be better at to try and help nullify that rush attack a little bit.
Eric.
Is Blackwood backing up tonight?
Yes.
And then Brock Nelson obviously gets that goal last game. 2 goals, I think, 1 assist in the first 10 games. Where are you with his game? It's kind of been the second line center thing's been a touchy subject. Is there any concern about his production, or is it just a work in progress?
Yeah, I think it's just chemistry with his line mates. I love the way he's playing. Been super responsible on the defensive side of things. They had a goal called back, obviously, on that offside in Utah. I think they're getting quality chances on a nightly basis as, Gabe's game comes a little bit. I think that's going to help. I think Val had a slow start to it, to the season, and now he's come around. So it's just getting all those guys kind of firing on all cylinders and getting them back together. I'm going to play Ross Colton on that line tonight instead of Gabe. That's how I finished in Jersey, and I thought he had a great start to the game, so I bumped him up. And then he finished strong as well and was part of that Brock Nelson goal on a nice low attack out of the corner. So go back with that to at least to start tonight.
Evan.
Just talking about Ross, he's had a lot of shots and he's created chances, but the production hasn't quite been there. How do you kind of evaluate his first 10 games?
I think he's been good too. Yeah, I think playing to his identity for me, which there's a certain rambunctious style that he's got to play, and one of the things I always kind of nitpick him on is his defensive commitment, making sure he's checking the right way and running into people on the forecheck. He has to be an effective forechecker for us to sort of help his line create. And yeah, I don't have any complaints on his game at this point either.
Let's talk about that chemistry with that line. How long do you kind of let that go until you see that you need to kind of make a change?
Well, I already made a change, so.
Yeah,
we'll see. I'm sure they'll be apart and together many times throughout the course of the year, depending on how they're playing and how the other guys are playing.
Yeah, thanks, Jared.
Yeah, thanks.
So it should be the same lineup as ended last game with Colton on the second line, Ashawn in on the defensive end, and I don't see any reason to swap that, given they looked pretty decent.
Go with
on
the hot hand,
line.
yeah.
Yeah, right. Keep going there. We do need a score and a name for a goal scorer, Justin. Crystal ball time here. What do you got for tonight's game?
I think we're going to get what we're hoping for. I think we're going to see an offensive explosion. I think we're going to see an Avs team come out, play with pace, really generate some high quality opportunities here and capitalize. So I'm going to say the Avs get it right and win this one. I'm going to go bold. I'm going to say they win this 6-2.
I like it.
And I'm going to say our guy Val Nichushkin keeps the hot streak going, ties Milan Hajduk in career goals.
Let's go. I like that. We need that second line to be good. Yeah. I'm really tempted to say 6-7 right now just for the meme, but no, I'll go.
You don't even know what that is.
Yes, I do.
I don't. Yeah.
It's really dumb and just based on the ball. Is it Lonzo? I don't know which ball wears 67, but one of them does. Anyway, no, I'm going to go 5-3. I think it'll be a little bit closer. Yeah. That's what I'll go with on the number side. On the other side, I'm taking Marty Necas to get back on the score sheet here. It's been a couple games. You want him to find that consistency in production.
He does feel due.
Yeah, a little bit. And I thought he played pretty well last